Tens of thousands of co-located network cellular communications devices were found by the Secret Service, which could have taken down the entirety of New York City. And they're wondering how many more of these networks there may be in the United States. This was found and apprehended as world leaders were meeting in New York City for the UN events going on there right now. My friends, this is just one of many things going on in this country right now that I've been trying to alert you to. This is the one of many things that pose threats to you and me everywhere in this country. It was perhaps an imminent attack which just got thwarted in the nick of time. But how many more of these are out there? I'm going to play to you the video of this Secret Service agent, Matt McCool, who is the special agent in charge of the New York City field office of the Secret Service. Now, hang on. I am going to bring this up and show it to you. This will knock your socks off, guys. I'm going to show you some other things that indicate just how big this threat is to us. And this is just one vector, one threat vector. Some stuff, big stuff may be about to go down. So let's listen to this.
Hello, my name is Matt McCool, and I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Secret Service New York Field Office. We are making this announcement as a matter of public interest given timing, amount, and concentration of material recovered during a recent Secret Service Protective Intelligence investigation. Following multiple telecommunications-related imminent threats directed towards senior U.S. government officials this spring, the U.S. Secret Service began a protective intelligence investigation to determine the extent and impact these threats could have on protective operations. This was a difficult and complex effort to identify.
Oops. Got some whale problems here. Here we go.
The source of these fraudulent calls and the impact on the Secret Service protective mission. During this period, we leveraged technical assistance and support of federal partners, including Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of Justice, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. We also received phenomenal support from our state and local law enforcement partners, to include the NYPD. The investigation led us to the New York tri-state area, where investigators discovered tens of thousands of co-located and networked cellular devices capable of carrying out nefarious telecommunications attacks. These devices allowed anonymous encrypted communications between potential threat actors and criminal enterprises.
So these network devices allow the criminals to have their own comms network and take ours down,
enabling criminal organizations to operate undetected. This network had the potential to disable cell phone towers and essentially shut down the cellular network in New York City. These devices were concentrated within 35 miles of the global meeting of the United Nations General Assembly, now underway in New York City. Given the timing, location, and proximity, and potential for significant disruptions to the New York telecom system, we moved quickly to disrupt this network. To be clear, these recovered devices
it's breaking up here.
No longer pose a threat to the New York tri-state area. We will continue working towards identifying those responsible and their intent, including whether their plan was to disrupt the UN General Assembly and communications of government and emergency personnel during the official visit of world leaders in and around New York City. Forensic examinations of the equivalent of 100,000 cell phones worth of data is underway. Early analysis indicates cellular communications between foreign actors and individuals that are known to federal law enforcement.
There you go. Foreign actors and individuals known to local and national law enforcement. My friends, foreign actors. What I've been telling you about the drug cartels, how they're connected to China very much, and how Chinese banks launder the money of those organizations. And oh yeah, they are ultimately responsible to who? The CCP, is all companies and everything in China are. And also, but China has to always hands off. It's these companies, that works in the United States, but it's command control in China from the top down. So, their little act of plausible deniability is a very thin veil, if you will. So you got to bear these things in mind, my friends. Who is really sponsoring this stuff? Where's it coming from? And they haven't said this is China, but they connections to local criminal elements, gangs, and foreign actors. That's highly suspicious to say the least. So let's get on and play this if it'll let me. Oh, it's trying to draw now. X. Let me stop the share for a second. So, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. My software is trying to divvy up on it. But guys, I'll go back in here again.
Given the sensitivity and complexity of this investigation, we are not able to go into specifics at this time. This is an open and active investigation, and we have no arrest to announce today. Rather, this announcement is designed to safeguard critical infrastructure and responsibly provide the public what we can at this time.
I'm going to show you guys what these devices look like. This is extensive.
The Secret Service will continue to run down all leads until we fully understand the intent of the operation and identify those responsible.
All right, that's that one. So I am going to hit the escape button. Now, this was from the Secret Service's own YouTube channel. This is official government information, and it is free to show without any worries about copyright and things like that. So let me show you what these devices look like. Advertise up here. That's McCool here. They had these things, SIM cards basically, which are a cell phone essentially, all plugged in, all with all these routers plugged in. And look, they had shelves of just banks and banks of these. This was not a trivial little operation. Each one of these is a very complicated device, and they had hundreds of them there. Total, they said tens of thousands. And they have cell phone data, he said, worth hundreds of thousands of cell phones. This is by no means trivial. Could have taken down comms for all of New York City, our biggest city. So, and as he said, we don't know how many of these there are. That's the sad part. There's another article on this, and we will show Sky News had some stuff on it. You know, what does this remind me of? You know, there was a book, Unrestricted Warfare, written by these two Chinese colonels in 1999. I don't know how you pronounce that. Kuo Lang Wang Zhengzhu. I'm sure that's very wrong. I do not speak Mandarin. But this document was translated, and I got the PDF file of the whole document. I've had it before, and I've described this document in videos in the past because it talks about how even a technologically inferior nation can bring down a technologically superior nation, and the kinds of warfare that China was poised to launch. They included biowarfare, robotics, all kinds of things, except for direct combat, how to bring down a nation. This was a blueprint, and maybe they're following it because, as y'all might recall, not only now that they have these big communications cellular networks, which somebody has them, and put them in the United States, at least one, probably more, but we also found a biolab, as some of you may remember, in Reedley, California. I've talked about this. And the biolab, had a lot of pathogens there, including HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, COVID, Ebola. Some of the vials are marked Ebola. How did just some little company get a hold of all these things? Some little operation. How does grandpa working in his garage come up with all this stuff? It don't happen. And here's the other thing. There is no profit motive for a company, like they're supposed to be, to make an entire nation sick, to wipe them out, their population. That sounds like a mill-op to me, if you know what I mean. And we know that these were Chinese sponsored, lots of vials, and they had experimental rats, all kind of stuff in there. And they were supposedly selling, their cover was that they were selling bug test kits and also selling a pregnancy test. Oh yeah, and this was a really dirty lab, it turned out. So, the biosecurity had to be low. Why? And so they didn't care about the stuff getting out because they might have been planning to release it. Anyway, so, officials shut it down. Yeah, here's what they were selling on the cover. Now, gee, imagine if you were using these kits coming out of that nasty lab, you could have got infected. It's lucky that a lot of stuff didn't happen from that. So this is a whole report just on this lab. Yeah, a big report. So this stuff is out there. Select Committee on Chinese Communist Party. All right, my friends, stop the share. So we may not know for sure yet who had these cellular networks in the United States, but we do know who else operates in the United States in cooperation with the drug cartels. And as the country that has sent F-ball, my code word for that illicit substance, it starts with ethanol and begins with an F. So, or the word vent. So, guys, yeah, being careful what I'm saying on here. You got to be careful on this platform. But 250,000 Americans gone because of that stuff. So, yeah, they love us so much. Yeah, that must be it. Yeah, so you go back to Unrestricted Warfare, that book, and you can also buy that on Amazon. Yeah, that book's actually available now. Somebody got it and translated it and put it out there. That's a good thing. Somebody found it. Oh, yeah, who found it? Well, I posted an article on this on my Facebook site years ago, and somebody attacked me for it. So that's not true. That's just propaganda from the Falun Gong. I'm going, yeah, well, if I was Falun Gong and my people were being, peaceful group of people that does Tai Chi in the morning and meditates, and if I was being attacked for that and having my organs harvested, yeah, I think I would do a little bit more than just publish a newsletter like the Epoch Times and send dance troops across the United States to show the beautiful culture, traditional culture of the Chinese people prior to it being basically eradicated by the CCP. Um, yeah, I think if a bunch of us good old redneck buddies had our people being treated like that, we would be in if we were there, we'd be in Beijing in a hurry. And we might not be so peaceable in our approach, but we would definitely see to it that that came to an end. At least I would think so. So, the this group has been very quiet. Now, I digress. Okay, the real threat is here and now. This is just one vector, as I said. There are other things that we have to be very much aware of. It's already being reported to us by the FBI that they have sleeper cells ready to hit our water supply, municipal water supplies, all over the United States. We believe there are sleeper cells ready to attack power substations. We know they have software that has got into our power generation, power distribution at every level to hack it. They've hacked our military computers. Turns out the security services for our military computers, even Microsoft, who they contracted with, was all hacked by China. So, my friends, we may be on the verge of something big, something bad, and maybe that's why they took the risk of putting this in New York City and perhaps somebody. It may be all over the United States. We may be on the precipice of something big going down. The late, great Dr. Peter Vincent Fry, who founded the Task Force on National Homeland Security, of which I'm the Aerospace Technology Director, came out and told us that if we got an attack from China or Russia, it would start probably as an electronic attack. It'd be a multi-pronged attack with hacking, people hitting things on the ground, like kinetic attacks from sleeper cells, and it would consist also of then maybe an EMP. And he also taught us that, by the way, he was considered, you can hear former Congressman Weldon tell us that Dr. Pry was the primary expert on Soviet weapon systems in the CIA before he left. Now, he's no fan of the CIA before he passed away, and in fact, Weldon believes they may have had a hand in that. I can go on another video on that. It's kind of tragic, but my friends, the situation is that he warned us. Yeah, he was the top expert. He left. He was always talked against the deep state too, by the way, just in case you want to know. He was a friend of mine. I could call him up at any time. I've interviewed him many times on this channel. So all that said, he warned us that they would hit us with all the Russian official document, excuse me, was that an EMP attack was electronic warfare. So it wasn't like just launching a war on somebody. It's like electronic warfare, kind of like hacking. Only problem is that after an EMP, according to the Congressional EMP Task Force, 9 out of 10 people in our population in the United States would pass away due to societal collapse within a year. Now, when you look at how fast people were starving, you go to folks like John Hollerman and me, will tell you that that will happen a lot faster in a year, and it'll be far more people. I've covered that before. Then you got to worry on top of that. What that report didn't worry about was the spent fuel rods at our nuclear power plants. Yeah, we got a lot more threats we'd be facing after an EMP than what they originally accounted for in the EMP task force that said 9 out of 10 Americans would perish in a year. So this is just one piece of an ugly jigsaw puzzle arrayed against us. Even if it's not Chinese, it's still one piece of a jigsaw puzzle of the threat vector that we face in this country right here, right now. And these things could be imminent. One reason I say imminent, it could be the entire activity of Russia probing Europe and NATO, could be part of a dispersion to distract our forces for a potential invasion of Taiwan. And many sources think before China would do anything with Taiwan, they would try to incapacitate the United States so that we couldn't respond. And this could be one step, one measure, one of many at their disposal of a multi-pronged attack. Why multi-pronged? Well, it's not belts and suspenders. It's redundancy to make sure that you can accomplish your aim should you decide to do that. This is why I warn everybody to get ready, to prepare. This is why I have bugged out to my bug out location. Now it's my bug in. I'm bugged in at my bug out. I live out in the middle of the desert, off grid. When I was in Tony, Alabama, I was above Huntsville. I was only 26 miles from the Browns Ferry nuclear power plant. Once I understood the risk of those spent fuel rods, I didn't like it there anymore. That and I had a few other issues with that area, and so I left. And I wasn't the general people there. A lot of good people, good communities. Huntsville is one of the most fast-growing, prosperous cities in America right now. So I had a lot of friends there, and I still do. And I do plan to visit from time to time. But, my friends, I just got to warn you to take it seriously, that we are in trying times and things can go bad any moment. It might slow down their plans just having this identified, or maybe they will accelerate and decide to activate their other systems if their intention is to take down the cellular network. Then they may poison our water supplies. They may launch drones that could do nasty, nefarious things. As we've seen, and I've already posted, ISIS and Al Qaeda have both came out and called for attacks in the Western world, especially here in the United States. And we have a National Counterterrorism Center report on that, which I've just covered. So, my friends, these are real threats. They exist. They can go down any minute. Now, you've seen the hardware. Maybe you can see the reality of what I've been telling you all along. That's why I brought you this. I need you to understand that the threat is real. The threat is now. It's time for you to prep and pray and get your matters in order in case we have a really bad day. I mean, beyond anything you can imagine practically. So, my friends, because all this stuff can be going on in the neighborhood around you. And even when everybody's hungry, good people can go bad. It is time to keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. You better be situation aware when you go out in public so you don't become like that poor girl and Charlotte, who was taken out, the poor girl from Ukraine, or many others, as we've come to learn about of late. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching, and Greg out.